there were 3 mistakes you could avoid to become a really great songwriter, would you do it? In this video, I'm going to show you the major hurdles that are stopping you from becoming a better songwriter. I've written hundreds of songs and I've gotten the help and advice from many multi-platinum songwriters, and these are 3 killers that I keep hearing time and time again. At the end, I'm also going to show you a free resource that was one of the most significant game changers in my songwriting career. To start, I'm going to show you the most common mistakes that I believe are affecting 99% of you. It works like this. Years ago, I worked at a company pulling in like 60 hours a week, but I was always drawn to music, specifically songwriting and performing mostly. I could never find enough time to practice music in my schedule because it was just always like off the side of my desk. It's always deprioritized. One day in the future, I'm going to have enough time, but years passed and I never did. And my growth as a songwriter and performer just completely stalled. So the mistake you want to avoid here is not making time in your schedule to practice songwriting. So how do you find time and prioritize your songwriting? At 28, I quit my job so I could practice 100% of my time, but please don't do that. I didn't have many responsibilities at the time, like kids, so I could afford doing that. So let's assume your schedule looks like this. You have a family to support, you have a full-time job, you got chores around the house, you have things to do, extracurricular activities in the evening as well. So how are you going to carve out time with all of these responsibilities? This is where I like to bring in 2 systems that have really helped me. The first is a system that I learned while working in tech. It's called the CEO system. It's a system that separates you into 2 people, not literally, but you as the CEO and you as the worker. So as the CEO, you're going to plan out blocks of time for your worker in a calendar. So let's break this down step by step here. Step 1. In a quiet moment, open up your online calendar and put that CEO hat on. Step 2. Carve out blocks of time to accomplish all your responsibilities, like everything during the week. Make sure to prioritize the most important ones. Step 3. Identify different blocks of time by giving them different colors. It might not sound like a lot. For example, the songwriting block could be red, work could be blue, family could be green. Yeah, I know it might not sound like a lot, but this is really going to help you identify what is a priority and what is not. It also helps you just at a glance see what you're working on most. For example, if songwriting is blue and there's no blue, then you're like, I didn't make time for it. Step 4, pass this calendar on to the worker. As the worker, you can't change the calendar now. You just have to follow orders. There's a hack that can make this even more productive by following our second system called the DFT system. I use this system every day, seriously, to get tons of work done, and especially in the last year and a half, and it's easy. It's the distraction-free timer. This means that during your blocks of songwriting, you set a timer and remove all the distractions. I know it sounds simple, like, yeah, I already know this, but don't underestimate its power. Once I started implementing the CEO and DFT methods, I'm not only happier because I'm getting more done, I'm also getting way better at songwriting and production. And you really notice this month to month. You won't notice it day to day. I also implemented this process across my entire schedule, including content creation, music production, and it's helped me grow my personal YouTube channel to over 200,000 subscribers, and now this channel as well. So this is all good and gravy, but what if you carve out a block of songwriting time and you don't have the inspiration to write? Like you show up and you're just like, bleh. So if you're low on inspiration or have writer's block, try doing one of these 3 approaches and see which one connects with you the most. Number 1, the failure tool. Try to specifically write a failure or a bad song. This was a game changer for me. Before implementing this, I would show up at a session just literally trying to write a world hit every single time, which honestly is a good attitude to have because you want to do your best. But if you do it all the time, it's just too much pressure. Using the failure tool will just relieve that pressure and can help you get out of a writer's rut. By the way, you might just end up writing your best song too. Number 2, muscle mindset. Think of your songwriting skill set as a muscle. If you miss a workout, your muscles aren't going to grow. The same thing for your songwriting brain. Don't miss out on a practice. Even if you're uninspired, just try. Number 3 is the emotion tool. Lean into the emotion you're experiencing in the moment of the songwriting session. If you're uninspired, tired, and lazy, try to specifically write an uninspired, tired, and lazy song. If you're sad or mad, try writing a sad or mad song. dig into and lean into those feelings in the moment and get something out of them on paper or your instrument. So the second killer songwriting mistake levels up this one even more, and it's actually what helped turn me into a full-time producer too. When I started songwriting full-time, I definitely followed the CEO and DFT methods religiously, and I wrote over 200 songs in the first few years of writing. But something happened in year 3. I would show up in a session and the ideas felt like stale, or I felt I already wrote the song I was trying to write. I decided to completely derail my acoustic guitar and notepad approach to songwriting. And instead, I started to write songs on the computer. This experience opened up a floodgate to new ideas, just made me feel much more creative. So if you want to find new energy, try to build in a new approach. But how do you do that? Honestly, there's many ways you can do that. Here's 10 options for you. 1, you could do it like me, start directly in Logic by playing over some Apple loops or dragging in some samples from Splice. Look how quick I can get a vibe going that I could write on. This is actually how I write most of the songs, and I find the ideas are just endless. 2, you could scrap your instrument completely and just work on lyrics and melody using your phone to record ideas. Number 3, change your environment. Go and just write a song in a park, or go somewhere and actually write about what you're seeing in that environment. Number 4, you could try a different instrument. I suggest trying the piano if you haven't before, because it's a great instrument to get some sounds out of that doesn't actually take a lot of effort. It's way easier than the guitar to get sounds at first. Next, play a random software instrument from Logic and see what ideas come out. I like to use the step sequencer and arpeggiators for this. It's actually how I wrote my song Skeletons in Your Closet. Next, you could try AI tools like ChatGPT to give you some starting points for lyrical ideas, or even chord progressions too. Next, start writing the chorus instead of starting with your verses. Like, I always start with the verses, but why not just never start with the verse and always start with the chorus first? Next, dig through your old journals or random books and pick up a theme or a lyrical idea to get you started. Next is try to limit yourself creatively, like with only 2 chords, and you'll be surprised with actually what melodies you can come up with when you constrain yourself. You can see that the concept is quite the same in all of these. If you want to get a different result, you need to do something different. Now this brings us to one of the more subjective songwriting mistakes that might be a bit controversial, so let me know in the comments, but I hope to convince you either way. So let me ask you a question. Would you like a song that was unoriginal, overdone, and really had no substance to it? No. Of course not. You want something that's going to grab you, right? Not literally. And the argument here is that maybe you would like something unoriginal because it still makes you feel something. Sure, I have some guilty pleasure pop songs that just hit the right mood at the right time. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. But music is art, and it can be challenging to perfectly make sense of it all, right? Problem though is a lot of us, me included, are making the same mistake of not making our listeners care. So how are you supposed to make your listeners care? And it's a question I ask myself in every session too, right? Let's take an example and look at a song I wrote a few days ago. Ooh, sometimes I dream when we got lost in France. Tried a cigarette, you could barely hold your breath. Life was easy then. To me, I think the lyrics are just missing some substance to make the listener care. So here's how I might approach a rewrite of this song. I would show the listener more lyrical emotion, I guess you could say, that the character might be feeling. Why wouldn't he trade his place? Why is he dreaming of the past? Why should we tell the listener about it in the first place? Why would they care? Often just asking yourself, why would they care about this song, is a good starting point to get you thinking. I like the France lines. It's kind of visual and the trade its place, but I don't think it gives enough substance. What would you write? Seriously, give me your lyrics and a suggestion in the comments. The next big songwriting mistake will help you finally see your weak points, but warning you, this might hurt your feelings. I never actually did this, but after diving in headfirst to it, I started to finally feel like I was a better songwriter. So if there's any mistake to avoid in this video, please make sure it's this one. Imagine 2 chefs. Let's say one's name is Tina. She experiments with new approaches and she's like cooking daily to just perfect her cooking, right? But then a year goes by, and after all that hard work, she serves her first dish to a customer and they just spit it out. Tina is just dumbfounded and completely shocked. She doesn't know how to fix the problem. On the other hand, we have another chef. His name's Chris. Chris is doing the same thing as Tina, but each week Chris invites some of his friends in to taste the meals that he's working on. Some suggest, yeah, maybe add a bit more salt or just throw out that ingredient and try something completely different. Like with every bit of feedback, Chris evolves so much faster than Tina. Songwriting is exactly like this metaphor of cooking. You can spend a lot of time working on your own and you might think you know everything and you're actually improving, but sharing your work with others and getting feedback will reveal things to you that you never imagined. So how do you find a friend or collaborator to give feedback on your music? I often find the best feedback comes from non-songwriters or non-musicians. For example, ask your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend. Tell them not to give technical answers to or think they have to be smart with their answers. You honestly just want that honest feedback. So besides the non-technical people, seek a community of songwriters too that can help you with your craft of songwriting. For example, join the community at Make Your Music or send your song to the link below and I'll give you my honest thoughts and review for free. Keep in mind though, like whenever you're getting feedback from me or from other songwriters too, from technical musicians, keep this feedback as well with a grain of salt. Even though they know music and they're maybe technical within the realm of music, music is art and there's going to be some fundamental feedback that is worthy, but there's also going to be a lot of feedback that they might not be right on and that you should take your own stance on some of your art as well. The thing is though, even if you fix all these mistakes in your songwriting, you still need to know how to produce the song and get it out to the world, right? Or else it's just going to collect dust on your hard drive. So watch this video here, and I'm going to show you 3 genius Logic Pro production tips that have completely transformed my music.